Is this pretty or just plain ugly?
Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is my weekly vlog number 60 for Monday, March the 26th, 2018. And I hope you had a good weekend, and I hope you have a nice week ahead of you as well. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, you saw in my teaser a little experiment that I did, and that was with acrylic pouring. I bought a kit at my local art store, Curry's. Happened to see it. Haven't done any acrylic pouring for a while, as you probably have gathered if you follow my videos on a regular basis. I was all into that back a few months ago, and I've just kind of let that lapse, and I should get back into it again. But when I was in the art store last week, I happened to see this kit while I was looking for some other things, and it said it had a glass-like effect. Now, it's an acrylic pouring kit. It comes with about, I think there were 6 or 8, I think there were 8 different types of fluid acrylic paints, some pouring medium, and some little cups and some instructions. And unlike regular acrylic pouring, this type of pour would not give you cells, but it does dry, it says, with a glass-like finish. And so I experimented with it, and I have that listed below. It's crap video number 25, I think. No, 24. Crap number 24, acrylic pouring kit. So you can see what I did to create this. It's just on an 8x8 canvas board. It is a little warped. I noticed this stuff kind of warped my board, and I'm afraid if I bend it back too much, I'm going to snap it. So I poured it, and the colored parts are what was in that kit. And they sort of run together and they create kind of an interesting effect. I added some string gel, and I explained that in the video as well, to black paint, and let that dribble over top of it and sort of created this abstract looking thing. I don't know. I'm not that impressed with it, and I don't really see any reason I would probably use it, except for maybe it might work well on some tiles that you can make into coasters, that kind of thing. I think it's pretty water resistant, but if not, you could just coat it with you know, some varnish kind of a thing, artist varnish. That would work. Well, it was interesting. It was only $20 for the kit, so I thought I'd give it a go. Okay, so what else have I been doing? Well, of course, I have been quilting. I'm going to a class. I've had my second lesson, and we don't meet again for 2 weeks because it's on a Friday night, and Easter Friday is coming up, so there'll be no class. So in the meantime, we're to put all our little squares together. So I'll give you a sneak peek at what I'm creating. This is one row, and it is chevrons or zigzags, and it's going to be different colors. This is one row in purple. I think there's 2 rows of purple, 2 rows of orange, and 2 rows of blue. And there's different, you can see that I'm using 2 different types of material for the purple, and the same will happen with the blue and with the orange as well. These are tricky. Okay, anytime you're using triangles, they are a little tricky, although we used a process called triangles on a roll, which is basically a paper pattern that you pin down to your cut fabric, and then you sew right over top of that, and then you cut, and it's supposed to give you more accurate squares. Mine are pretty good. They're lining up pretty good. I'm kind of impressed with that, although they're a little bit out. But you know what I'm finding? Even people who've been quilting for years and years and years always have a few little tiny flaws in what they create. And I guess in the overall scheme of things, when you see the whole quilt done, you don't really notice those unless somebody points them out to you. This is what the quilt's going to look like. Cut it off here at the bottom when it's done. This is a picture from the Ultimate Sewing store that I go to, that I'm taking the class. It was on their website, so I took a picture of it as a reference as well. So it's a fairly simple quilt. but that's what I wanted to learn. And I wanted to take a class because I want to learn what things I'm doing wrong and learn the proper techniques. So I'm enjoying it. And on top of that, I've got right behind me, and I'm going to get off this stool in a second so you get a better look. This is my Australian quilt. I have finished the quilt top. It's all made up of tea towels that I bought when I was over in Australia. In fact, I bought a ton of tea towels. I've got so many left over that I may actually use some of them as tea towels. I'm going to make a bag. I've got one that has the flag of Australia on it, which I like, and I saw a video where someone made a tote bag out of a tea towel, and so I think I may do that eventually with that particular towel. And also tote bags made with tea towels. These tea towels anyways are very thick linen, and so they'd make a great tote bag. But let me get out of the way here so you can take a look at what I've done. And of course this whole thing is my own design, and it's not a bad size. It's a little bigger than a lap quilt. It's not a bedspread size. I just made it up as I went along. So I've put in hourglass features, these points as well. I've had a lot of fun with this, and I'm not done yet. I did an applique of Australia. I cut that out of a tea towel, put it down with fusible webbing, and or heat and bond, whatever you want to call it. And then I stitched all the way around it using the machine in a thread that really doesn't show up, which is good. And I might do some other applique work in around the corners because I've got a couple of boo-boos which you can't really see, but to somebody who knew what they were doing as a quilter, they would be able to spot them. But I think I could probably kind of hide them, and I might cut out a kangaroo and a koala or something from one of the tea towels and applique them up in the corners as well. And then I've got to do the backing, and the backing is going to be tea towels as well. I'll piece some tea towels together. It won't be as elaborate as the front of this quilt, of course. It'll just be some really big squares or rectangles from the tea towels sewn together for the backing. Then I have to layer it onto the batting, and I'm going to look for something I just heard about the other day on a YouTube video called fusible batting. Traditionally, what quilters usually do is they use safety pins and pin all over the quilt top to pin to the batting and to the back to keep it stable when they go to quilt it. To date, I have not done that on the other two quilts that I've already made. I used a spray basting, which is basically a spray glue, which is fine. It works great. The only problem is you want to make sure that, you know, the area you're spraying it in, you've covered up a little bit, because it, like any spray glue, it filters through and it can get onto other things that you don't want it to get on. But then I saw this fusible batting, and basically it's what it says. You lay it down, take an iron to it, press around, and it sticks the batting to your backing and to your top. And you don't need to use safety pins, which is great because I hate pinning. I really do. So I might go over this week to Ultimate Sewing there and see if they have some of that and try that out. So that's what I've been up to. This quilting thing is taking me over. I'm telling you, all I do is quilt now. I love it. But I'm neglecting some of my other crafts, like my art journals and scrapbooking. Off camera over on the side, I have ready to go the pictures I want to scrapbook from Australia. I bought an album for this. I've got my embellishments, the whole bit. I just need to sit down and start doing them. And I think I may take a day and just concentrate on that. I'm not doing a very elaborate scrapbook of the pictures, and I'm not scrapping all of them because I took over 1,400, something like that. A little overkill. That's the world of digital cameras for you. And I think I'm going to do them. I printed them out so they already have a border, so I don't need to mat them. So I'm just grabbed one of my many paper stacks, you know, paper pads. I was collecting those at one time, Don't ask me why. Love paper. Now it's fabric that I love. So to use it up, it's one, it's got maps of the world kind of a thing in it. And I'm going to also print out some artwork, Aboriginal artwork that I took pictures of in some of the museums when I was in Australia. And I'm going to use that as sort of background as well. And I'm just going to slap them down on the page, put a heading on them, maybe add a couple of embellishments and move on. It's going to be quick and dirty. It's funny, I've really have moved away from scrapbooking. I never thought I would, but I have. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because it can become overwhelming with the number of pictures we take these days. In the days when you had to have your films developed, each picture was precious. So, you know, and you didn't have a lot of them, but because of the cost. But today, you know, like 1,400 Australian pictures, I can print them all out if I want to, or I can leave them in digital form, make a slideshow, you know, that kind of thing. Bore people to death with them, you know, that kind of thing. So I think now what it is it just becomes overwhelming, you know, too many pictures. Now I do know a lot of people have gone into doing scrapbooking, and this has been going on for several years now, and I really like it, where they only concentrate on 1 or 2 pictures on a page, and it's all about the background and, you know, layering and things like that, and using art journaling techniques. So that's something too. But I am going to do it as a more traditional scrapbooking album, and I've got to get to it, get it done. Okay, so that's what I've been up to. So, YouTube channel of the week. I've got a short clip of an up-and-coming YouTube star. This is a person that I know. I used to work with her when I was a teacher. She's a colleague. And she's just recently discovered Jane Davenport and art journaling and has gotten into it in a really big way. And she started a YouTube channel showing some of her work and her process, which I applaud. We can never have too many process videos because, you know, that's where we learn and that's where we get ideas and inspiration. And Laura doesn't have a lot of videos up yet, but she, like I said, she just started, so I want to support her on this journey. And so I've inserted a little spot in here about Laura and her
This week's YouTube channel is by Laura N. I know Laura N because I worked with her for many years as a teacher. Laura has just gotten into producing YouTube videos, so I would like to promote her channel and give her a great start. She is into Jane Davenport's products in a big way, and she's already been doing some really marvelous art journal pages. Laura is kind of new to the art journaling world, but she certainly has taken it by storm. And I think you will find over time that many of Laura's videos are going to be very inspirational. So check her out. It's Laura N.
So I hope you'll check out Laura's YouTube channel. And she's going to have more videos in the future too. But it would be nice if she knew that, you know, people are supporting her in this journey. I mean, the YouTube world is a vast world. It's a universe unto itself. And those of us that do YouTube videos, we creators, we really appreciate it when people say nice things about what we're doing and show their support. Because really, that's what it's all about. It's not for glory, it's not for fame, it's not for money, okay? It's, at least not for me. All it is for sharing ideas. It's the teacher in me, and I'm sure that's what it is for Laura as well. Okay, so speaking of people, I got a letter this week, an email, from one of our regular viewers on Stephen and Walter Live, and this is Anita, and she goes on, if you're one of the regular viewers on Stephen and Walter Live, you've probably seen her come up in the chat screen as Cherry A19, but her name is Anita, and she sent me a nice little letter that I asked her permission if I could read it on air. I was going to do it yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live, and I forgot all about it, so I'm going to do it today. So this is what Anita writes. Hi Stephen and Walter. I just now finished catching up on what I missed from your vlog on Sunday. I'm so glad you had such a great vacation. Stephen, I was so sorry to hear about the life alert issue with calling your mother while you were away. I guess in these days, you have to follow up on everything and then follow up on your follow-up. I'm sure hoping that the doctor will give you what you need to see that your mother can get the right treatments or housing situation. We never think of ourselves getting to the point that we can't care for ourselves, but it does happen if one lives long enough. I know I worry about that myself. I bet you will learn many ways of doing the machine quilting at your classes, and will bring a very nice artistic perspective of your own art experiences to offer others. We had about 3 inches of snow on Wednesday, but it is all melted off today. Actually, the sun is shining and a beautiful blue sky. However, on Saturday, we could get hit with a snowstorm depending on how it tracks. So either Dayton or Cincinnati. So of course you can tell that Anita lives in the States. I also want to tell you that I entered 3 art pieces into our town's art show in February. I entered under the non-professional artist category and I won my first ever ribbons. I won 2nd place ribbon for the mixed media leaves painting and a 3rd place for the mixed media children's ironing board. I've never entered anything. I was totally shocked. The judge was from a local community college. How about that? That is great, Anita. You know, I wish we had something like that in our area. The art gallery that I volunteer for, they only handle professional art and people who are artists, okay, who that's how they make their living. And then our local art society, they seem to just focus on people who are, you know, are also artists who sell their works and things. So I would call them, you know, professionals. I have not seen, now it doesn't mean it hasn't happened, I just don't know about it, an art show for people like Anita, like myself, who are not really professional artists. We're just people who dabble in the arts. You know, I think that would be wonderful, and I think that would be very inspiring, and I think very supportive of all of us out there who get labeled as crafters. And you know how I feel about being labeled a crafter. Not that that word is a negative, it's just it's the way that how some people use the word. It's like, oh, you're a crafter. Yeah, right. And I think I did a rant way back, you know, a year or so ago, probably longer, when I first was doing my vlogs about that whole business about between art and craft and what it is. I think it's all art, and good for you, Anita. Really, that is great. And Anita finishes off by saying, well, enough chatter. Hope this email finds you both feeling better, Anita. So thank you, Anita, for that email. And as all part of my person of interest segments on my vlog, you know, if you just want to write me a few lines about yourself or tell me something that you've achieved lately or you know of or just general interest or whatever, please do. I'd like the opportunity to read it. I will email you back and ask your permission, of course, to read it here on my vlog, because again, I'm trying to make this a friendly environment where it's just not all about me, it's about our little group, our community, you know, of the people who touch base with me through my YouTube channel. Okay, and so speaking of people of interest, I do have a little segment I'm going to insert here about one of the regular viewers of Stephen and Walter Live, and on here I imagine as well, and her name is Brenda, and if you're on Stephen and Walter Live you may know her as BMC 9605, but she sent me a short little blurb about herself and a picture of some of her artwork, so take a look at that now.
So this week's person of interest is Brenda, and Brenda has been watching Stephen and Walter Live for a while now, and so she sent me this little email which I'm going to read to you. And you can see that I've included a picture of one of her projects as well. She says, I'm a procrastinator when it comes to writing letters. I meant to write while you were on vacation, but you know how it goes. I live in West Virginia, USA. I live alone with a cat named Kiki. I have 2 grown children and 3 grandchildren. My art journey started about 2 years ago. I got COPD and had to quit work. My background is in the healthcare industry. My other interests are playing the guitar and singing. I come from a large musical family. My COPD hinders my singing, but through painting and journaling, I'm able to release what I would have released while I was singing. Anyway, I started on YouTube with Art Sharapa and got hooked. Then I stumbled on to your videos and liked the way you do the mixed medium. I don't have a vlog or channel to link to, and I'm not much on typing, so I won't be going down that road, laugh out loud. I took an old big songbook and started painting on the pages to use up the leftover paint from various projects I had done on canvas. But that's about all I'd gotten done. I have a few art supplies, and I know the pages will grow as I continue to travel on this journey I'm on. I'm sending you one of the pics I've painted. You may show it if you like. Keep being inspirational. Your friend, Brenda. And Brenda, that is a marvelous painting. I wish I could paint like that. So I would definitely say you are well on your way to some marvelous pages in your art journal. Thanks for writing.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and please, once again, I put out the appeal. Send me information about you so I can feature you as a person of the week. Don't be shy. Okay, so that takes us down to the list of resources that are in the comments below. I've got a link to our latest Stephen and Walter Live. I've also got a link to a book I'm about to tell you about, the Art Journal Workshop. I have a link to Laura's YouTube channel. And there are 3 links to 3 videos I did in the past week. Crap video number 24, 25, and 26. 24 is about the acrylic pouring kit that I spoke about earlier. And then a technique, crap 25 with Geliplate transfers, taking a picture from a magazine and transferring it onto your Geliplate and taking a print. It's kind of a neat process. There's some quirks to it, but I explained that in the video. And I did another one as sort of a follow-up to that video, crap number 26, where I do some experimentation with the Geliplates and Vicki Boutin's water-soluble crayons and Tim Holtz's Oxide inks. So again, check those out. The links are below to see how that worked out. And just a reminder that CRAP stands for Creative Relaxation and Play, where I just play around with a new product or a new technique and see if I get something awesome or something that's a piece of crap. You never know. Okay, so what's pissing me off this week? Well, this isn't really pissing me off, but when I was at my sewing class on Friday night, our instructor, who also works in the store, was talking about stupid things customers have said to her. And this is an example. A lady phoned up, an older lady, at least that's what this person thought it sounded like, and she says to her, "Hi, I was in your store about 4 years ago, and I bought this gray fabric for a quilt. It didn't have any pattern on it. I just wonder if you have any more of it." Yeah, okay, we have a lot. This is what my instructor was saying. We have a lot of gray material that doesn't have a pattern. You know, it's mottled or it's, you know, this, that, or the other thing. I really don't know if you have it or not. Well, I bought it 4 years ago. You know, I came into the store and I bought it 4 years ago, she says. Well, okay. And then at this point, she said to us that, you know, really, I don't remember. Well, how can you? I mean, I know I worked in retail for a little while. You can't remember what everybody bought. And if it's been 4 years and it's fabric, yeah, fabric comes and it goes and it changes. So anyway, she very kindly said to the lady, "I really can't help you. Maybe you could bring me in a small sample and we could look for it," kind of a thing. So I don't know what goes through people's heads, but I thought that's really kind of funny because I used to get stupid questions like that too when I worked in the scrapbooking store. For example, on more than one occasion, I'd have somebody phone up and say, "Hi, I saw this thing on YouTube and I really want to know if I can get it from your store." Pause. I would say, "Okay, well, sure, I'd be happy to help you. What was it?" "Well, it's this thing. And it sort of did this thing with paper and some other stuff, and I really thought it was a cool effect. So I'm wondering if you can get it." Okay, yeah, I would be happy to see if we can get it or if we have it in the store, but I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about, what that thing is. Now, at this point, you would think that the person would realize, "Oh, yeah, I need to give a little bit more detail here about what this item is." But no, this person started to get a little angry with me and said, no, like, all right, it's this thing. It's yellow. And it works on paper, and it works with stencils and things like that. And I really want it. And I want to know if you have it or you can order it for me. Okay, at this point, you know, you're getting a little bit annoyed. But you know, the customer's always right. And say, well, you know, if you could tell me the name of the YouTube video you were watching, or, you know, if you could go back on and just email us the link or the name of the product or that, I most certainly could, you know, help you out, I'm sure, with that. Still don't get it. And it goes on. And that's not the first time I've had those kind of questions. I mean, I know in their mind, the person's probably picturing exactly what the item is, but I can't read minds. Nobody can read a mind, well, nobody I've met. So you got to have the details for it. Also, I used to get questions in the store as well. Several years ago, I was in your store. I live out of town. And I bought, and then they pause, and they go, I bought this, and then they say it, this thing that you can put down onto your scrapbook pages, and it helps to do something. And you're scratching your head going, I don't know what that is. I mean, pretty knowledgeable about products that are in the scrapbooking world, but I don't know about everything. And if it's been a long time ago, my memory's not that good. So, you know, you struggle trying to help them. They're getting frustrated, you're getting frustrated. So I guess what pisses me off is people who don't do their research when they're looking for a new product. You know, people in the store are more than willing to help you out to find something, but you got to give them details, okay? This is not a murder mystery kind of thing and you're trying to figure out who done it. You know, you want the details so you can, okay, we have it, we don't have it, we can order it, we can't order it, kind of thing. So anyways, I could see in the person at the store, at the sewing class, when she was telling the story, how frustrated she was. She wanted to help the person, but she couldn't. And I'm sure that the person at the other end might have thought she was a bit of a dummy or something because she didn't know exactly what the material was or whatever. So anyways, maybe that's something we all need to keep in our minds, you know, that sometimes what we think is very clear in our brains doesn't necessarily translate through our lips to help. But anyways, a little bit of a lame thing for what's pissing me off this week, but really, life's been good. Not a lot of stuff pissing me off these days. Maybe next week. Okay, product review. So, well, here's something that pisses me off, actually. But I'm doing a product review. When we were in Australia, and I was on Facebook, you know how Facebook comes up with advertisements for new gizmos and gadgets and things like that. And usually I just bypass them. But this one caught my eye because it's an adjustable foot for your sewing machine. So you see, it's got this little bar that hangs out here and this little slider, and you put it like at a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever, and it's got a little guide right here. So when you put your material underneath it, you can use this little edge and you'll get a perfect 1/4 seam allowance, 1/2 seam allowance. So I thought this was a really handy device. Now I have a 1/4 inch foot that has a guide for 1/4 inch, but this one's sort of universal. So I thought, yeah, I'd like that. So I ordered it right then and there on the spot. Now, a couple of things I did wrong, okay? First of all, I should have probably investigated the company selling it before I ordered it, because there could be a lot of fly-by-nights, and there are, on Facebook, you know, selling everything and just want your money. Second, I probably, if I did the research, I should have questioned whether or not this would fit on all sewing machines. They implied in their advertisement that it was universal. They never specified that it was for a specific machine. So I ordered it. It wasn't that expensive. I think it was came to about $24 Canadian. And it did arrive. You know, it took about 3 weeks. I got it, and great. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a proper foot. There is one little problem though. It won't fit on the ankle of my Janome sewing machine. This part right here, the little clasp, the foot, the ankle comes down, it grabs a hold of that, and that's what attaches your foot. This is just slightly narrower than the little clamp. Just by a hair, but you can't get it to fit. And I found that very disappointing. So then I did what I should have done before, my due diligence or whatever they call it. I went and explored this further. Excuse me, still got a bit of that cold. And I looked it up. Actually, I went in and put in Sew Easy. It's called Sew Easy Foot or something like that. Found pictures of it. Went to the pictures in Google Images, clicked on the image, found a website, went to it. It's by Singer. Singer makes these for their sewing machines. It's a Singer product. I have a Janome. No wonder it didn't fit. However, the company selling this was not Singer. It was a third-party company. I suspect an offshore company. I suspect that they were China. Well, not suspect. When the package came in the mail, there was Chinese writing on the address label all over it. So, okay. So anyways, I thought, well, live and learn, whatever. I'm out 24 bucks, not the end of the world. Maybe it'll fit on my old brother's sewing machine. I haven't tried that yet. But then I thought, you know, I'm going to write to them. So I did some more research. I found an email address for them, and I sent them off a note. And I explained what I just explained to you. You know, great idea. Looks like it's well made. Just won't fit my sewing machine. My problem is this. It's for a Singer. I have a Janome. There was nowhere in your advertisement of this product or in the details of this product where you said this was specifically for Singer sewing machines. In fact, you implied it was universal. So I sent them a message, and I didn't expect to get a reply. I did sort of tell them that I would be reviewing this product on my YouTube channel. I kind of threw that in, just gives it a little bit more of a, you know, punch. And I got a message back in semi-broken English. So again, by some lady. Her picture was there. I think it was fake, by the name of Allie. I think this was a computer-generated message, because it came up and it said, "We've got your email. Please send us pictures of the defective product and details." Well, I already did in my email tell them what the problem was. So this is why I think it's a computer-generated product or message. And I don't think Allie exists, and I don't think that's her picture. So I did. I took some pictures, showed exactly how this wasn't fitting in the whole bit, sent off the email, and asked them, please advise. I have not heard from them since. That was, what, tail end of last week? Maybe I'll hear something this week. I don't think I'm going to hear anything. I'm out 24 bucks. So what I'll do is I'll see if it fits on my brother. If it doesn't fit on my brother, I noticed one of the ladies in my sewing class has a Singer machine. I'll offer it to her if she doesn't have something like this. Just give it to her. You know, what the heck? Somebody should get some use out of it. So anyways, so that's sort of a pissed me off there as well, you know, like companies that don't give you all the details. But I think what more or less anything, I'm pissed off at myself because I really didn't do my research for this. Okay, moving on. What else did I buy? Ah, this. Okay. This is a needle threader. So you can see it's got the little, oops, show it in the camera. See, it's got that little eye there, but, excuse me again, what makes this unique is it lights up. So you can see the needle. So you hold your needle up here. I actually haven't tried it yet. And away you go. My eyesight is no good for threading needles, so I thought this would be really handy. In fact, this was an impulse buy on Amazon, because originally I went on looking for something called a hummingbird needle threader, and it's a little gizmo that I saw on one of the sewing shows that I watch on YouTube. Lady was using it. It's a little steel bar that comes out. It looks like a hummingbird. Excuse me. Tail end of this cold. So it looked really cool for threading a needle. It had a little bar that sticks out from the end of it. You shove it through the needle hole. It's got a little hook on the end. Put your thread and pull it through. The problem with these, I've used needle threaders before that have these little wired things. And I don't know about this one, but the ones I've had before, they're really cheap. And most of the time, they end up getting caught in the needle, and I just rip the wire off it, and then it's no good. So, anyways, I've ordered one of those, and it's supposed to be coming in another week. But when I was on Amazon, I saw this, and I thought, oh, that sounds cool too. So I bought it, and I had a $25 gift certificate, and it came to 18 bucks, and I applied it to that, so really it cost me nothing. I'm just going to take a little break here for a second so I can sort of hack up along, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I hope I can get through the rest of this without coughing all over everything, which reminds me, I have to go out today and get some more cough medicine. So this brings us to my book review from this week. You know that I'm reviewing different books and magazines that I have in my stash, and I'd forgotten all about them. Well, here's one I forgot about. The Art Journal Workshop, and it comes with a DVD. And the DVD has actually process videos on it for some of the techniques in this book. This is pretty good because, again, there's different techniques. It goes in and explains these ideas. So if you're having a mental block, artist block, this might inspire you as well. It's really why I buy these books, for inspiration and to learn new techniques. And here's one that I have marked. And I must have marked it when I first got the book. And what's this all about? Well, I'm not sure. Journaling prompts and exercises. I'm not sure why I marked this page, but I did. Or maybe it's this page. Promote gratitude. Well, I don't know. But anyways, it's got some great pictures in it. It's a nicely bound book as well. And the DVD is a bonus as well with it. So I have put a link to Amazon where you can get this book. Now, I originally paid $27.99 Canadian for it. However, I did notice on Amazon that they were advertising it for about $10 less than that. So it's still available. And sometimes with these kind of books too, I have found, you know how they'll often offer you a used version of the book? I have done that. I've ordered them occasionally. I don't really like used books unless I'm going to chop them up for collage papers. But I have ordered a few, and they're practically brand new that I've ordered. They look like they've hardly ever been opened, and I got them for a lot less than what a brand new copy. So that's an avenue you might want to pursue as well, especially if it's a book you're not really sure about, and it's hard to, you know, Amazon lets you preview a few pages from it, but I find even that doesn't really give me a good sense of what it's about. So if it's something I think I'm going to be interested in, but it's expensive, and I don't want to take a chance that spend $35 on a book and it's not going to be any good, I'll look to see if there's a used copy and for a cheaper price. Sometimes I get them for as little as $3. And they're, like I said, almost brand new. So you might want to check that out. Okay, inspiration list and tips. All right, transferring pictures using a Geliplate. I saw this on the Jelly Arts YouTube channel, and I thought I'd give it a try. And I did try it, and I did a crap video about that as well. It's kind of neat. It does take some fiddling around, and my video explains that. But it's kind of cool, And another technique, and I've just bought some fabric for this. I want to make some more tote bags, custom tote bags, you know, pockets and things, and my own design, like a bland bag. And so I went to my art store and I bought some ungessoed canvas by the meter. And I think I bought, what did I buy? 4 yards? Is it yards? Anyways, they didn't have a lot left on the roll, but it was really wide. Really wide. And so I just bought what was left there. And it was like $1.49 a meter or something like that. It's really cheap. And my idea is I'm going to take it, cut it down into more manageable pieces, and I'm going to paint it with fabric paint. I'm actually going to make my own fabric paint. You can do that. There's a medium you can buy that you mix in with your acrylic paints, and it makes them into like the consistency of a fabric paint. And I've got these things called art foamies, which are big, like a rubber stamp, but they're not rubber. They're made out of foam. And I'm going to use some stencil work in that, and I'm going to design my own fabric. You know how I like to design fabric. And, you know, make this into like a canvas tote bag with my own designs on it. That's my plan. Have I started it yet? Nope. But I'll show it when I do, and I'll probably make a video of the process as well. So those are 2 ideas that you might want to try out. And let's see, what are events in the past week? Well, the second sewing class, but that's about it. Had a meeting with the volunteer coordinator at the art gallery that I volunteer for to do some planning for our upcoming volunteer luncheon that we have once a year, some activities. Got a lot of time on my hands these days with the art gallery because basically the education team has been put on hold, not quite disband, but there's a new person working there who's working on a new curriculum, and she basically has excluded us from it. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed in all of that. I could say more about it, but I'm not going to right now. That might be something for Stephen and Walter Live to talk about it, because I'm a little PO'd about how things are going over there and what's happened to our volunteers for the education department anyways. So anyways, I'm finding other opportunities there to volunteer for things as well. So I'm not out of it. I'm just transferring my talents to a different area, I guess. And nothing else really in this past week. Oh, I took my mother to the doctor on last Monday? Tuesday? Lose track. Monday. It was Monday. And tomorrow I have to take her back because she had to have blood work done, of course, because she hadn't seen the doctor in 4 years. And so we find out about that. But my aim there is to start getting the wheels turning to get her onto a waiting list for a nursing home, because it's 4 to 5 years. And this is the first step. The doctor, I've had the doctor check out her mobility problems. And I asked about getting a physiotherapist in, you know, a few times a week to help my mother exercise and show her what she needs to do to at least, it's not going to cure her, but her muscles are atrophying, so maybe that will, you know, slow down that process, because once you can't move anymore, it's game over. It really is. So keep moving, people. So we're doing that. So that's all exciting. Not. And what's coming up this week? Well, nothing much. Of course, Friday is Good Friday, and so it's Easter weekend. And I mentioned it yesterday in Stephen and Walter Live, but if you haven't seen that yet or don't watch them or whatever, well, if you don't watch it, then you don't care about what I'm going to say right now, is that we might not be on at about 4 o'clock next Sunday. We might be a little earlier, or maybe on Saturday. It depends, because I'm not sure what I'm doing Easter Sunday. Whether my sister's going to have us over for dinner, that often does happen, or whatnot. I could actually do Easter dinner, but to be honest, I don't want to. I'm too lazy. It's a lot of work, and yeah, I'm not really into it, so whatever. So if she calls up at the last minute or something and invites us over, then I may have to adjust the time for Stephen and Walter Live. Maybe. We'll see. And so that's it. That's the week that was. And thanks for watching. And stay tuned for more videos, crap videos, and other ones that I'm going to be posting in the next few days, week or so. And yeah, stay safe. Stay happy. See you next week. Bye-bye.